I am 108 years old. Take a good look at me. I am a living monument to biological efficiency, a biological miracle, and a complete and utter fool. It is 5 o'clock in the morning and the world is still dark, save for the harsh blue-white glare of the fluorescent bulb humming over my kitchen island. I can hear the refrigerator motor kick on, a low rhythmic vibration that feels like it's the only heart beating in this house. I reach out my hand and the skin on my knuckles looks like translucent parchment paper. So thin, I can see the blue veins pulsing underneath like slow-moving rivers. My pulse is a steady mechanical metronome. It never misses a beat. That is the problem. I pull the heavy handle of the refrigerator. The seal breaks with a soft hiss, and the cold air rolls out against my chest. There it is, sitting on the middle shelf, right where it always is, a glass jar. It is perfectly clean, perfectly labeled in my own meticulous handwriting. Lentil soup. It is the anchor that has held me to this earth for over a century. I unscrew the lid and the scent hits me. It smells of cumin, turmeric, and damp earth. To some, it might smell like health. To me, it smells like survival. And survival is a very lonely scent. I am looking right at you now with eyes that have seen 3 different turns of a century. And I am telling you, with every ounce of breath I have left, do not do what I did. Do not win the game the way I won it. My longevity is not a trophy. It is a prison. Decades ago, I bought into the greatest lie ever told to man. I believed that a disciplined body was the same thing as a successful life. I became the architect of my own cage, and I built it one brick at a time, with the arrogance of a man who thought he was smarter than nature. I looked at the world around me and I felt a smug, cold superiority. I watched my brothers, God rest their souls, at the family gatherings. I remember the way the air used to smell back then. It smelled of wood smoke, roasted pork, and cheap red wine that stained their teeth and their shirts. They would laugh until their faces turned purple, slapping each other on the back, grease glistening on their chins as they reached for another slice of birthday cake. And where was I? I was the man in the corner with the measured greens. I was the one who brought my own scale to the dinner table. I sat there with my back straight, sipping filtered water, looking at their joy as if it were a disease. I viewed their laughter as a weakness. To me, that second helping of potatoes wasn't a celebration. It was a slow-motion suicide that I was too disciplined to commit. I thought I was. Earning days. Every time I refused a glass of wine, I told myself I was buying an extra week at the end of my life. Every time I skipped the dessert that my wife spent 3 hours baking, I thought I was depositing time into a biological savings account. I traded the warmth of the hearth for the cold, hard precision of the kitchen scale. I was a king of self-control, ruling over a kingdom of one. I lived by the clock and the gram, convinced that if I could just control the input, I could outrun the inevitable. I didn't realize that while I was busy outrunning death, I was also outrunning the point of being alive. The tragedy of my life didn't happen all at once. It didn't come with a bang or a sudden collapse. It crystallized 20 years ago on a Thanksgiving that still burns in my mind like a brand. I was 88 then, already an anomaly, already boasting about my blood pressure and my resting heart rate. My daughter Sarah had spent 2 days in the kitchen. I can still smell the sage and the rosemary. I can still hear the sound of the house filled with people, my grandchildren running through the hallways, the floorboards creaking under the weight of a dozen different lives. The kitchen was thick with the steam of boiling potatoes and the sweet, heavy scent of roasting butter. When it came time to sit down, the table was a masterpiece. There were bowls of hand-rolled pasta, shimmering with olive oil and garlic. There were pies with flaky crusts that filled the air with cinnamon. Everyone was talking at once, a messy, beautiful cacophony of human connection. Then there was the silence. It started near me and spread across the table like a cold front. I reached into my thermal bag and pulled out my jar, my lentil soup, my longevity in a bottle. Sarah looked at me and the light just went out of her eyes. She didn't yell. She didn't even argue. She just looked at the empty spot on the plate she had set for me. And then she looked at my gray, nutrient-dense mush. The specific regret isn't about the calories I saved or the nutrients I gained. It's the silence that followed. It's the way she realized in that moment that my diet mattered more to me than her effort. My discipline was more important than her love. I chose the perfect meal over the holy moment. I sat in a room vibrating with the energy of 3 generations of my own blood, and I was a ghost. The floorboards don't creak anymore because there's nobody left to walk on them but me. I sit here in the mornings, and the silence is a physical weight. It's a heavy, suffocating blanket that presses down on my shoulders. The anchor object, that jar of soup, sits before me on the table and it mocks me. It did exactly what it promised. It kept me ticking. It kept my cholesterol low and my arteries clear. It kept me alive long enough to watch the world turn gray. It kept me alive long enough to bury my wife, who ate the butter and drank the wine and died with a smile on her face 25 years ago. It kept me alive long enough to watch my siblings pass one by one, their lives messy and short and full of flavor. It even kept me alive long enough to bury Sarah. I am the winner. I am the last man standing. and it is the most horrific victory a man can achieve. I have achieved the ultimate health, the pinnacle of physical preservation, and I have absolutely no one left to witness it. There is no one to tell a joke to. There is no one to argue with. There is only the hum of the refrigerator and the sound of my own steady, lonely heart. I optimized my life until there was no life left in it. I cleaned the house so thoroughly that I scrubbed away the people who lived inside. The soup is lukewarm today. It tastes like ash. It tastes like the years I spent being afraid of a little bit of sugar and a little bit of fat. I'm leaning in close now because I want you to hear this. I want you to feel the scratch of my voice, which sounds like dry leaves blowing across a driveway. You sitting there, probably worried about your macros, probably feeling guilty about the pizza you had last night or the workout you missed this morning. You think you're being disciplined. You think you're building a future. I'm telling you, you're being a coward. You're hiding behind your health because you're afraid of the messiness of being human. You're trading the only thing that matters: connection, heat, shared joy, for a few extra years of sitting in a room by yourself at the end of the line. Stop counting the calories and start counting the memories. If the choice is between a bowl of steamed broccoli alone or a greasy burger with your best friend who's leaving town tomorrow, you eat that burger every single time. You drink the wine until your head spins and your heart opens up. You eat the cake at the wedding. You take the second helping of your mother's cooking while she's still here to cook it. What good is a body that lasts a century if it hasn't felt the friction of a shared life? What is the point of a heart that beats 1 billion times if it never beat faster for someone else? Don't try to live forever. It's a trap. It's a boring, sterile, lonely trap. Start living right now while you still have people who want to sit across the table from you. Put down the jar. Close the app. Stop obsessing over the finish line. Because I'm at the finish line. And I'm telling you, there's nothing here but a cold kitchen and a jar of lentils. Walk out that door. Get messy. Get unhealthy for an afternoon. Spend your health on the people you love. That's what it's for. It's not for hoarding. It's for spending. Go out and get messy with the people who make life worth living before you end up like me, 108 years old, perfectly healthy, and completely dead inside.